1947. A strange Bavarian merchant carries a carrot in the back of his cart, but this carrot is gigantic. With the ability to feed a nation's army with ease, the Japanese, Axis, and British Commonwealth forces all show down at the same time, attempting to claim this mysterious and wonderful vegetable for themselves. Who will be able to seize the carrot on the end of the stick in this week's battle report of Konflikt 47. Hey, how's it going? Mike from Mike Rolls Dice, and welcome back for another battle report of Konflikt 47. Today we have a special battle report with two guests, Rev and Chris, and we're going to be playing a 3-player game. But as always, let me give a quick shout out to our YouTube members and everyone who watches the channel here. Thank you so much for the support, and I couldn't do it without you. Now with that out of the way, let's go over to the army list, starting off with my 1500 points of Axis forces. So starting off, we have 1500 points of Axis here that I'll be playing today. And starting off, we have the 1st Assault Platoon, which is being led by Heinrich Ross, aka Little Peacock, with his 2 Emu bodyguards and his ability to have additional snap 2s, if you will. Then we have a platoon commander who's really leading this assault platoon, and she's inexperienced with a point of rift mastery. Then we have a 12-man Totem Corps platoon here, and they have the ability to regenerate zombies at any point in the turn using a rift die. And then we have a 6-man unit of Nachtjägers here, and they're going to be able to fight first and negate the abilities of an enemy in a defensive position. Next up, we have 2 Volksgrenadier units, and one is a regular Volksgrenadier unit equipped with rifles and 1 LMG, and the other one is a veteran Volksgrenadier unit, full strength, all equipped with assault rifles. Then there's a 2-man sniper team, and last but not least, the 12-man Volksgrenadier unit. The veterans will be riding in a Hanomag half-track equipped with an MMG. Next up, we have the armored platoon here, and for the armored platoon, we have 2 bolt-action units. Starting off with the command vehicle, we have a Stug, but a late model Stug with the anti-tank weapon, the heavy anti-tank weapon. Then we have a early model Stug with the light howitzer. And that's my Axis forces. Now moving on to the Commonwealth list that Chris is going to be playing today. So for the Commonwealth today, we have Chris, who's on the channel before for our 3-player game, and he's going to be playing Rev's British Army today. Starting off, coming in around 1500 points, we have the 1st Assault Platoon being led by a platoon commander with an additional point of guts. Then making up the bulk of the army here, we have 4 Mark II heavy automated infantry squads. These are damage value 7, and they have the ability to shoot through their own units with the rift die, and they're equipped with 2 light autocannons and 1 heavy autocannon. Next up, we have the armored walker platoon with George, who counts as 2 handlers here, with a 6 monkey Cerebus squad here, and they're going to be able to do some damage in melee. So for the command vehicle, we have the Merlin Walker with its reinforced armor, its anti-tank gun, twin HMGs, and medium machine gun. That rounds out the list Chris is playing today. Moving on to Rev's Japanese forces. So today, Rev is playing his Japanese forces and coming in at 1500 points. Starting off the list with the 1st Assault Platoon. Starting off with a platoon commander in samurai armor, just a platoon commander, not a power armored one, as well as a point of luck that he paid for, as well as a infantryman with a anti-tank stick that's ready to try and take out some vehicles. Next up, we have a Japanese sniper team with their Shiburu sniper, and then we have 2 battle frame armored infantry squads. These are all equipped with Shiburu rifles, and the officers in the squad have special swords for added assault damage. Ready for your order, Commander. Next up, we have 2 green Imperial Japanese infantry squads equipped with rifles. They're just there as some cannon fodder and to push up the board and potentially get some charges in. And that rounds out the assault platoon. Moving over to the armored walker platoon here, we have a ghost squad here with their teleportation ability and their Shiburu rifles. Then we have the Sasori Walker with its Shiburu cannon and its multi-legs and arms for attacks. Then we have the Inigo Walker with its autocannons and melee capabilities. Last but not least, we have the Chiha tank with its Shiburu cannon and its MMGs.
Chiha here, ready for combat.
And that rounds out Rev's list, coming in at 1,500 points. With all the lists out of the way, let's go over the battlefield conditions. So for the deployment today and the mission rules, today is very simple. We have the town square here, and in the center we have a carrot salesman who is proclaimed to find the miracle in growing extra large vegetables, which could be very useful in feeding an army. So today's objective is holding that central carrot cart, being within 3 inches of it, and it's hold until relieve. Whoever is holding that central point at the end of the game is going to be the victor. Otherwise, nobody will get the carrot and the merchant will flee off the battlefield. Now, all of the buildings will be hard cover, and any of the trees or bushes, hedgerows, or brick walls are going to be soft cover, including all of the barrels and bricks in the center. So with the mission rules and the battlefield overview out of the way, let's go over the infiltrators here. The Totem Corps getting the first infiltration, deploying dead center on the point, which was pretty lucky for me. And then we have the Ghost Squad off to the right here. And then we have the Axis sniper team on the left side and the Japanese sniper team taking up position on the opposite side. Now, one thing to point out is I will be deploying on the side that I'm filming from. Chris will be deploying on the opposite left side, and Rev will be deploying on the opposite right side. They're going to be using table quarters essentially, and I'm going to be using a gap in the center of the board. With all the deployment and board layout out of the way, let's get going with this 3-player hold until relieve game, starting off with the start of turn 1. So start of turn 1 here, and the British Commonwealth are up with Chris going first. He's going to be taking a Mark II infantry squad, actually running them to get a little additional movement outside of his deployment zone. And moving on to the board with another Mark II infantry squad, this time only advancing, taking aim with the autocannons at the German sniper in the building right next to them. Starting off with the light autocannons first, and then the heavy. Ready to fire. And manages to take out one of the snipers with the light autocannons. So now the Axis sniper team, after being fired upon, has to pass an order test, and they're going to take aim at the Mark II infantry right in front of them. But unfortunately not managing to get through the robot's armor. So the Commonwealth are up again, moving another Mark II infantry squad on the board and shooting at the same Axis sniper team that's been identified in the building. And this time managing to penetrate the bricks of the building, they take out the last of the German sniper team. The Axis are up, and I'm going on ambush with the 12-man Totem Corps squad, getting ready to react to any movement. And Rev is driving the Japanese Chiha medium tank onto the board here with its Shiburu cannon taking aim at the Mark II infantry squad in front of it. Managing to get some hits, but unfortunately not penetrating the robot's armor. So now the last of the Mark II infantry squads on the Commonwealth side have made it onto the board, taking a run order. And the Axis are following suit, running the 10-man regular Volksgrenadier squad up behind the hedges there, ready to support the Totem Corps. The Axis Hanomag drives onto the board here, using a run order, getting a position near the center. And the Japanese battle frame infantry squad advance onto the board and are going to be taking aim with their Shiburu rifles. And after advancing on the board, the Japanese battle frame squad unfortunately are out of distance to fire their rifles. So the Japanese battle frame infantry squad is just running onto the board here and getting positioned as well. Followed up by the Commonwealth Cerebus squad with George and his monkeys taking position at the building now that it's secure from the Axis sniper team. Now I'm taking my 6-man Knockjäger squad and getting them on the board running. They are in position, getting ready to charge Cerebus squad at a later time. The 2nd Japanese battle frame infantry squad is just running from its deployment, getting positioned behind the Japanese sniper building. And the big walker on the British Commonwealth side, the Merlin Walker, is now made its way onto the board. It's going to be taking aim with all of its guns at the Nachtjägers that are ready to charge the Cerberus.
Don't worry, lads, I see him.
Firing the tank for the HE profile.
Take this.
Then opening up with its HMGs and MMGs. Managing to take a few of the Nachtjäger out in the process. Now the platoon commander on the British side is moving onto the board and using some inspirational speeches here to use his point of guts to put the Merlin's dice back in the bag. Rev advancing with the Indigo Walker now onto the board, and it has a good clear line of sight for a side shot profile on the Merlin Walker. Firing its anti-tank first, and then its autocannons as well. Managing to take out one of the Mark II with the autocannons. The Merlin Walker's up again here. It's going to be moving behind the building to try and block some of the line of sight from the Indigo Walker while continuing to pummel down the Nachtjägers.
These things are bloody tough. Ready for another volley.
Managing to take out one more of the Nachtjäger in the process. So now the Axis are up, and the late model Stug with its heavy anti-tank gun is advancing on the board, and it's firing its cannon at the Merlin Walker in its reinforced front armor. Starting off with the medium machine guns at the platoon commander officer. And managing to take out the platoon commander after shooting through the hedges. But unfortunately missing with the anti-tank gun. So now the early model Stug has driven onto the board here, and it's going to be firing its howitzer HE profile at the Mark II infantry squad. I'm rolling the 2 hits for the template, but unfortunately no damage. So now the Axis platoon commander is running onto the board here using her Rift Mastery. She's converting a die to Surging and then giving the die to the Nachtjäger. Being that she's inexperienced, she doesn't have much value otherwise, combat experience-wise, making the Nachtjägers now fearless and even deadlier in combat.
Yes, my pretties.
So now Little Peacock struts onto the board using a run order and using a point of guts to put the Nachtjäger's dice back in the bag. And after pulling the dice and using a rift ability on their active die while keeping their surging, they're going to be able to charge now into the Cerberus squad, fighting first, negating any defensive fighting positions. So they're going to be able to fight and resolve their damage rolls first, and resolve any wounds on the Cerberus before they get to fight back. Unfortunately, only managing a couple wounds, which leads to both handlers being taken out, leaving the crazed monkeys to unleash their fury on the Nachtjägers. In doing so, they managed to wipe the entire squad. The Japanese platoon commander in samurai armor is now moving forward here, and Rev trying to get the ambush off on his Japanese snipers, but unfortunately it doesn't go off. And with that, that is the end of turn 1. We got a lot of units with more to come on the board. We're moving on to the start of turn 2. Started turn 2 here, and The Commonwealth is up first, and the Monkey Squad, the Cerebus Squad, is now unleashed from its trainers, and they are rabid. They run straight for the inexperienced Axis platoon commander, and she gets a pistol shot off before I just pull her off the board. And the Monkey's getting a 1-inch regroup, moving right towards Little Peacock. So now the Indigo Walker is up, and Rev's going to be firing the cannon at the Merlin Walker. Getting a hit here and a 6 on the damage roll, a full damage roll, and a 3 won't do it, but on the second damage roll, getting 2+ over a full damage roll on the side profile shot, managing to take out the Merlin Walker. Firing its auto cannons at the Mark II infantry. The Mark II infantry in the cover save with the hard to kill managed to save the robot. So now the Axis are up. The Hanamag is now activating and firing its MMGs at the sniper team in the building. And now the Sasori Walker is up, expending its Rift Die to fire its Shiburu cannon at the Stug, the late model Stug, with the anti-tank gun. And it's going to try and take it out. With a full damage roll, managing to take the Stug. Remembering I had cover didn't help, and the Stug is taken out. Now the Commonwealth are up, and Chris is going to be taking the damage Mark II squad, and after advancing forward, firing at the Totem Core in the center. Managing to take one of the zombies out, and firing its heavy autocannon. So the Japanese are up with the battle frame infantry squad, and Rev is just running forward, hiding behind the build, making sure to stay out of line of sight from the British. And Chris is up with the Mark II infantry squad, and he's going to be taking aim at the Totem Core again in the center here. Undead spotted, ready to fire. Firing HE templates on the Totem Core, managing to take a few out. So the Chiha tank is up now and expending a Rift Dice on a Shiburu cannon. It's going to be firing at the Stug with the cannon and the Totem Core with its MMGs. But unfortunately not being as successful as the Sasori Walker. So now Little Peacock is activating here and just running forward. He's going to be using his special Rift Mastery ability to convert a dice to Surging and give a Surging dice to the Totem Core, and use his last point of guts to put his own dice back in the bag. So the second battle frame infantry squad now is moving around the building, getting line of sight on the Totem Core in the center. They're going to be firing their Shiburu rifles.
Forward! Get ready to fire!
Chris and Rev slowly whittling down my Totem Core squad, but with the ability to regenerate at any point in the turn, it's not that much of an issue. The Japanese anti-tank team is running forward here. And now with my Totem Core's dice out of the bag here, I'm going to activate the Rift ability to regenerate as many as I can, getting a 6 here, so now up to a full 12-man squad, and they're going to be running into the Sasori Walker and charging it. Now Sasori Walker will get some attacks first, and then the Totem Core will attack into it. but the Totenkor managing to get a 2+ over full damage roll, and on a 5 managing to take the Sasori Walker out, with all the Totenkor breaking through the armor, with a 1-inch additional regroup. So Chris continuing to move his army of robots forward. They are slow, so they only have limited movement. And the Japanese sniper team now is going to be taking aim at Little Peacock with its Shiburu sniper rifle. And managing to take out Little Peacock as well as one of Zemu bodyguards, but the point of luck saves him. So now the other Mark II infantry squad is advancing forward here and is going to be firing at the battle frame infantry squad peeking around the corner. Starting off with the light auto cannons and then the heavy. But unfortunately not managing to take any out. So Little Peacock is up after pulling his dice back out of the bag after using his guts. Going to be advancing forward, staying on the point, and shooting the Emu's Schmeiser SMG at the battle frame infantry. So the Stug 3 with the light howitzer cannon now is advancing forward and just pivoting around in point blank range, and is going to be opening up on the Cerebus squad. Getting about 4 minis under the 2-inch template, but not managing to take any of them out. Only furthering enraging the monkeys. So now the regular Volksgrenadier squad is running, moving on to the point, making sure that the Axis can secure the giant carrot. And the veteran Volksgrenadier squad in the Hanomag is now advancing out. It's a full squad equipped with assault rifles, and they're going to be firing at the battle frame infantry behind the building.
They're over there! Get ready! Fire! Gun them down! Show them no mercy!
And managing to do quite well, but the Japanese make one of their saves and only lose one of the battle frame. So the Ghost Squad is now moving forward and actually taking aim at the Totenkor in front of them, not the Volksgrenadiers, and firing their Shiburu rifles. Managing to take out one of the Totenkor. And the Japanese platoon commander is just moving forward, getting ready to try and take the central point. And with that, that is the end of turn 2, and we are moving on to the start of turn 3. The Axis are in control of the giant carrot, but we'll see if they can hold it. There are at least 4 more turns, if not 5. And we forgot Rev wanted to use his teleportation ability, so we allowed him. He's teleporting successfully, actually making his way into the British deployment area. And that's the end of turn 2, moving on to the start of turn 3. The start of turn 3 and the Cerebus squad is up, and they are charging the Stug 3 right in front of them.
Help, we are surrounded by vicious monkeys! This is the end!
And the enraged monkeys easily managing to take the Stug out with a 4-up on the damage roll. So now the Japanese are up and advancing his platoon commander forward, getting onto the point here and contesting the giant carrot. Followed up by the battle frame infantry. Rev is now passing an order test and is advancing forward and opening fire on the Totenkor that took out the Sasori Walker. In point blank range, only managing to take one of the zombies out. Chris is up and continuing to shamble his Mark II infantry squad across the board, always activating his rift dice if it's available as well, so he can try and get a surging die, and he's going to be firing at the Japanese battle frame infantry squad.
Must eliminate power armored targets.
Managing to take some of them out with their cover save. Now the regular Volksgrenadier squad in the center is going to open up in point blank range on the Japanese platoon commander.
She's right there! We must take her down!
Manages to get through the samurai armor, but using her point of luck to stay alive. And the Japanese snipers are up now. They're going to be firing at Little Peacock, trying to take out my Axis leader. And unfortunately, not managing to succeed on the damage roll. So the Mark II infantry squad here, Chris is running them into the building for a later turn. And the Japanese are up here. Rev is activating the surging die to active on his Chiha tank and firing the Shiburu cannon at the Mark II infantry squad. Managing to take out one of the regular infantry with the machine gun. So after the regular infantry clear the point of luck from the Japanese platoon commander, the Axis half-track is now firing its MMG at point-blank range. It manages to take out the Japanese leader. So now the veteran Volksgrenadier squad is up, and they are going to be advancing forward, being that their assault rifles have assault, no penalty for moving, and they're going to be firing at the Japanese power armor. Managing 2 saves, only losing one of the power armor troops. So now the Ghost Squad, after teleporting last turn, have now advanced forward and are going to be shooting at the Mark II infantry. And after failing to take any of the robots out, teleporting away outside of 12 inches and over to my side of the board. So now the Totem Corps are up, and they are slightly damaged here, but not having a active rift dice other than the surging one and not wanting to get rid of it, they are charging now into the battle frame infantry with their added pen bonus from being surging.
Shine!
And with Rev managing to take a couple of the Totem Corps out, but the Totem Corps managed to take out the 3 remaining battle frame infantry. So now Chris is up with the Commonwealth, and again moving forward with the Mark II infantry, and they're going to be firing their autocannons at Little Peacock. And failing a save for the Emu bodyguard, but Little Peacock still hasn't been taken out in the center. And Rev, looking to change that, is now running forward with the Inigo Walker, and running through Little Peacock is going to get free attacks with his arm, and then moving into the regular infantry squad, causing a morale check, forcing them to move away. And on the run-in, taking out Little Peacock with its chomping arms, hopefully not cutting him completely in half. And after passing the morale check, making attacks on the regular infantry. Managing to take quite a few out, and not only that, but push them away from the point somewhat. So now Rev is moving onto the board. He has 2 Japanese Imperial Infantry squad, and they are just running onto the board here behind the house, as well as running onto the board by the Chiha medium tank. And the Commonwealth are up now, continuing to move the robots forward. This full-strength Mark II infantry squad are continuing to try and get towards the point. And they're going to be firing at the Japanese battle frame infantry squad. So now the Japanese anti-tank team, the man equipped with a stick with an explosive on the end of it, charges into the half-track and attempts to take it out. All it needs is a hit.
Banzai!
And it successfully manages to take out the Hanamag. So with that, that is the end of turn 3 now, and the Japanese and the Axis are contesting the central point, and we are moving on to the start of turn 4. The start of turn 4 here, the Cerebus squad is up, and they are going to charge, looking to get some movement onto the central point here. Chris is actually going to charge the Cerebus squad into the Inigo Walker.
Monkeys! Die!
The Inigo is going to be making some attacks here first. Managing to take 2 of the monkeys out. And the Cerebus getting 5 hits, and the Cerebus getting 5 damage rolls here, adding their pen into the combat, and with a successful damage roll, adding it all up, managing to take out the Inigo Walker. The Japanese tank is activating here, and seeing that the Inigo was taken out, it attempts to put some firepower on the Commonwealth on the Mark II infantry squad. Managing to take 2 of the robots with the light autocannons away. Now, Rev is just running forward here with his Japanese infantry squad, getting ready to try and seize the point. But the veteran Volksgrenadier squad now is reacting. They're going to be advancing forward and taking aim with all their assault rifles at the Japanese infantry.
Fire on them! They're trying to take our carrots!
Managing to wipe out the entire squad with the assault rifles. So the other Japanese infantry squad is just running forward and flanking on the opposite side.
Forward!
And the Japanese sniper team is going to be firing at the Mark II infantry. But those robots are quite tough. So now the Ghost Squad is activating here, and they are going to be advancing forward. They're going to be firing at the Volksgrenadier squad that's right in front of them. And managing to take 2 of them out. So now the Mark II infantry that are in the building are just going to advance out here, moving 4 inches. And then they are going to open fire with their autocannons, taking aim at the battle frame infantry, continuing to whittle down the Japanese power armor squad. The Totenkor get a active rift dice, which is nice, and Chris continuing to move forward with the Mark II infantry. Some of his squads not getting active dice at the end of turn for some of his squads, and when pulling his dice out, they are limited in their movement. And after firing in the center, managing to take some more of the regular Volksgrenadiers out. So the Commonwealth are up again, and the robot swarm is continuing moving forward, moving ever closer towards the central point.
Must keep moving forward.
And firing at the Japanese tank for a side armor shot, but unfortunately not managing any successful damage rolls. And another Mark II infantry squad is moving forward here, just running. As well as Rev taking his now heavily pinned Japanese battle frame infantry squad, rallying them successfully. As well as me rallying the regular Volksgrenadiers in the center. And last but not least, the Toten Corps are activating, and they are going to just run with their 8 inches, moving back towards the central point, and using one of their rift die to regenerate 5 additional zombies. Being able to even string them onto the point. And that's the end of turn 4, rolling all of the rift dice, getting some surging die for the Japanese, and moving on to the start of turn 5. Start of turn 5 here, Axis are up first, and the regular infantry that I have are just advancing forward and opening up in point blank range at the Cerberus squad.
Monkeys! Quick! Gun them down before they tear us apart!
But not managing to take any of them out, unfortunately. And with his freshly unpinned unit of battle frame infantry, Rev is moving forward and firing at the Toten Corps. But not managing to take a single one out. Now the Axis are activating with their veteran Volksgrenadier squad here. And they're going to be taking their assault rifles and firing at the Cerberus squad. And after moving and firing on the Cerberus squad with some in point blank and some in not, managing to take out the entire monkey squad. So the Axis are up, and I'm putting the Toten Corps on ambush for any potential charges from the Japanese or British side. And the Mark II infantry managing to get a surging die here. And the wounded Mark II infantry squad with 1 robot now is just running forward and getting onto the central point here.
Objective secured.
Now after this robot moves forward, I am going to activate the ambush on the Toten Corps, changing the die to run, and they are charging into the lone Mark II infantry.
Objective not secured. Objective not secured.
After many failed hard-to-kill rolls, the Toten Corps managed to take out the robot. So now the Ghost Squad is activating here, advancing forward towards the point, and they are going to be shooting at the Toten Corps that are on the other side of the objective.
Ready? Fire!
But not managing to do much damage. Now the Mark II infantry squad are moving forward, and both Rev and Chris are trying to whittle down my zombies as usual. Firing the autocannon profile on the Toten Corps. Chris trying to maximize the amount of damage here and managing to take out 2 of the zombies. So Rev is now charging, yelling Banzai, the NCO of the Japanese squad, the Imperial squad. They charge out from behind the brick wall and charge straight into my veteran Volksgrenadier squad.
Banzai! Fire on them!
And in a fury of bullets and bayonets, both squads are completely wiped off the board. So now the Japanese are activating their sniper team, and they're going to be firing at the Mark II infantry squad that is advancing up the board. And slow and steady sometimes wins the race, and Chris is moving his Mark II again up the board, and he's going to be firing at the 3-man power armor squad that the Mark II have been firing at for almost the whole game now, and using the light autocannons to fire at the Totenkorps. Firing the light autocannons at the Totenkorps and the heavy autocannons at the Japanese power armor. Two-man squad of Mark II infantry are advancing forward with their 4-inch movement here and opening fire into the Totenkorps. Managing to take out 3 Totenkorps. And the Chiha tank is still going strong. Rev is thinking about the future here and is advancing forward with his tank and is going to be firing with his Shiburu cannon at the Mark II infantry. But missing with the Shiburu cannon and not failing to damage any Totenkorps with the machine gun. So now I'm activating the Totenkorps here, and I'm rolling hot, getting a 6 on the dice for 6 more Totenkorps to be regenerated. And rolling the Rift dice for units, the Totenkorps get their active Rift dice back, and so do the Ghost. So this is the end of turn 5, and we're moving on to the start of turn 6. The start of turn 6, and the Ghost squad is up first, and they are charging into the regular infantry squad here. But the infantry firing their rifles first as the Ghost squad come in and managing to take one of them out. And in close combat with the one officer having a special weapon, they easily manage to take out the entire squad, though losing 2 Ghost infantry in the process. Getting a regroup movement onto the point. So now Rev's masterful plan, we're starting to see it. We knew he was scheming something, using his movement of the Chiha tank to drive into or essentially assault the Totenkorps, not necessarily trying to get any successful damage rolls, but to force them to move off of the point, moving away from the tank. You gotta watch out for Rev. He's a tricky one. He was quite successful with it. And now moving the Totenkorps even closer towards the Mark II advance forward and are opening fire on the Ghost squad right in front of them.
High priority targets acquired. Fire. Fire.
managing to take out one of the Ghost infantry. Now Chris continuing to advance forward with his 4-inch movement on his Mark II infantry here. He's going to be looking to finish off that Ghost squad. Managing to take out the last of the infantry. And one thing to note here, Totem Corps are not able to capture the point, they're only able to contest it. So that's one of the reasons why they're kind of ignoring the Totem Corps at the moment and trying to deal with each other's scoring units. So now the Japanese are up and they're going to be firing their sniper at the Mark II infantry. And the Japanese assault and the Japanese battle frame infantry are just staying still there, and they're going to be firing at the Mark II as well. But the robots are quite tough, and the robots now with a surging die are running with their regular movement speed and are getting onto the point here. This would technically be the end of the game here, the end of turn 6, but as always we have to roll for turn 7.
Oh, you f***ed
I
up.
can tell right away. I'm like, he's not even gonna make it. Nope. Nope.
Well, I'll leave this all in. Bullshit! You did it multiple times on purpose!
And with that, after 2 failed attempts, Chris rolling a 4-up, we actually get a turn 7. So we're moving on to turn 7 here, getting a surging die at the end of the turn for the Totem Corps. And with that, that is the end of turn 6, moving on to the start of turn 7. Start of turn 7, and the Japanese sniper team is up first, and they're going to be firing at the Mark II infantry.
Steady now. Fire!
But unfortunately, the armor of the robots is holding true, and the Japanese squad now is charging into the Mark II infantry squad.
Banzai!
With the robots actually managing to take out one of the power armored Japanese at the start, and then being locked in combat. So Chris trying to figure out some movement here, trying to get his Mark II infantry within 3, trying to get his Mark II as close to the point as possible. And after activating a rift die to shoot through his own units, he's going to be firing at the Totem Corps. Managing to take a couple of the Totem Corps out. Now, ongoing combat going on here, and the Mark II infantry managed to take out one of the power armored Japanese. And the Totem Corps now are getting a order dice, and they're going to be multi-charging because we looked it up and I didn't know the rules for this, so Rev was like, hell yeah, we're doing this. Multi-charging the ongoing combat of the Japanese power armor and the Mark II infantry squad. Starting off with the zombies versus the Mark II infantry.
Warning. Warning. Too many hostiles. Cannot detect which targets to acquire first.
And then the zombies attacking the lone Japanese power armor. And after some brutal combat there, managing to take out the 2 remaining Mark II infantry. So now this full strength Mark II infantry squad is just advancing forward here and is going to be getting line of sight and is going to be firing on the Totem Corps in the center. Japanese Chiha tank getting an active rift dice. It's technically really the end of the game here, And due to the fact that the Japanese don't have any infantry on the point, the robots are on the point, but the Totenkor are there contesting the point. This is the end of turn 7 now, the end of the game, and as the Totenkor and Mark II infantry tear each other apart, as the Mark II and the Chiha tank blow each other to bits, the lone Bavarian carrot salesman moves off with his Wonder Carrot to another village to try and sell his miracle vegetables. Well, thank you so much. This was quite hectic. This was a full 1,500 point 3-player 1v1v1 game. So it was quite a lot of fun. We did one of these with I think about 700 points or maybe even less as one of our first battle reports on the channel here of Conflict 47 at the start. So it was a lot of fun to do this again with our friend Chris, and shout out to Chris and Rev for coming and playing today. It was a blast as always. Well, thank you so much everyone for watching, and thank you so much to our channel members here and our viewers, and to everyone who watches the channel. It means a lot, the support. I couldn't do without you folks. Sorry for the delay, but this was not only quite a very long video, there was essentially about another half game worth of clips in there as usual, but I'm also quite busy with my fly tying business at the moment as it's peak fishing season. So we have another Conflict game filmed that I'm going to be editing, and then we're going to be trying out some different games here on the channel. Well, thank you so much for watching. As always, my name is Mike from Mike Rolls Dice. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Until the next battle report, as always, keep rolling high on those dice.